Okay, this is a review for Algebra 2. We're going to go ahead and do a few of these so it gets you started. Alright, remember the test will be on Monday. So I want to start with the first one because this is actually a little bit different than anything you have seen before. Now, first of all, notice that this is not like the one in your quiz in the sense that you don't have an equal sign. So the first thing we need to do is to figure out a common denominator, the lowest common denominator. Now you can do this other ways, but the easiest way that I can think of is to figure out that this has a 4 times 3, right? That's 12, and also know that 16 is 4 times 4 times x squared. Right? Now notice that they have a 4 in common. Right, so again, this is a little bit more difficult than usual. So we have a 4 in common, but notice that this one does not have a 3. Alright, and this one needs an extra 4. So I'm going to multiply this times 4. But also notice that I need an x because this is x squared and this is just x. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 4x. And on the right side, I'm going to multiply this times 3 on top and bottom. Again, notice that I had a 3 here and I don't have a 3 here, so now I'll have the same thing. Now normally what I tell you is to go ahead and do the top, right? So we have 28x minus 15, and that's going to be over the common denominator. Now normally I tell you not to multiply this, but I will multiply this time just to show you that it is the same. 4x times 4 is 16x times 3x, that's going to give me 48x squared. And on this side, if you multiply 4 times 4 times x squared times 3, that also gives you 48x squared. Now because I have a common denominator, I can actually rewrite this as 28x minus 15 over 48x squared. Okay, notice there is no equal sign, so that's the answer right there, right? There's no solving in this case, so there's no need to add 15 or anything crazy like that. So we're going to circle that, and that's going to be my answer. Okay. Now let's go to a problem. I'll get you started on number 2. I won't do it all, but I'll get you started. Alright, so notice that I'm just going to rewrite this so I can make it look cleaner. And notice I cannot factor x plus 5 and I cannot factor 2x minus 3. So what I can do is to multiply this one times 2x minus 3 because these two are not in common. Remember that if they have nothing in common, that I can just multiply this side times 2x minus 3. And the other side I'm going to multiply it times x plus 5. Okay. Now it's obviously up to you how you do this from here. But you need to FOIL here. Alright, remember that foiling means I'm going to multiply 2x squared. So we have 2x times x, 2x times 8, which is 16x. And then I'm going to go to the negative 3. So we have negative 3 times x, which is negative 3x. And then we have negative 3 times 8, which is negative 24. Alright. And now we're going to subtract this 2x and x times 5. So I have to multiply those two together. Alright, so I have negative 2x squared, let's see, minus 10x. Alright, now remember that on this one I do have to write the common denominator, but I'm not going to do that yet. So I'm going to let you go from here. The answer is going to be something. I'm just going to tell you what the answer is, and hopefully you can arrive there. So we have 2x minus 3, x plus 5, which is the common denominator. Notice, right? That's the common denominator here. And then the answer should be 3x minus 24. Alright, so that should be your answer. So, by the way, if you're doing this, watching the video, notice that how I get from here to the top of this, that's what I want you to do, right? So if you're just copying this like I got the answer, no you don't. You have to show me the work of how I went from here to this numerator. Okay, so again, make sure to do that. I'm going to go ahead and just show you what the answer is for number 3. Number 3 is going to be 4x minus 3 over x plus 2, x minus 1. So make sure you can get there. Okay, don't forget to factor this. Let me see number 4. Same idea here. At least I will help you factor this. Okay, 2x plus 3 over, if you factor a 2x, I have a factor of 2x here. We got 2x minus 5. Okay, which means that you're missing a 2x. You're missing a 2x top and bottom here. Alright, so make sure you're able to do that. And again, if you do that, the answer will be 2x cubed plus 2x minus 3 over 2x minus 5. So that should be the answer. Make sure you can get there. Alright, so you're going to do that from here. So make sure you go from here and you have to end up here. Alright, number 5, again, I'm just going to show you the answer. The answer is going to be x plus 3, x minus 2, x plus 1. Alright. Kind of a similar one, you have to factor both of these, alright, so make sure you factor both of those, and you're supposed to get to the end of that. Alright, let's go to the back page here. Let's see which one I want to do. Okay, I'm kind of wondering if I should do this one or not. I won't. Okay, so notice that we have something different now. This is more like your quiz, so alright, you have an equal sign here. So in this one, I have to have the lowest common denominator for this one, and that one. Okay. So let's see here. Do I really want to do this one? Yeah, I guess I'll do it. So notice that you have a 6 over x minus 5 over x minus 2 is equal to x minus 7 over x minus 2. Now x minus 2, see both of these have an x minus 2, so I don't have to have that, but this one does not have an x minus 2. So I have to multiply top and bottom by x minus 2. And on this side, notice that I now have an x minus 2 times x, and I have to multiply this times x on top and bottom. And this one, notice that I need an x also, so I'm going to multiply by x on top and bottom. Remember that I have to distribute that, alright, so I have to distribute this like that. So because this is a solving one, remember that if I multiply both sides times my common denominator, the denominator is going to cancel out. So once you are sure that you have the same thing here, here, and here, you don't have to do the denominator anymore, okay? So this is going to be 6x minus 12 minus 5x. Notice that I'm multiplying here. And that's going to be equal to distribute here. So we have x squared minus 7x. And before I go on, I've graded the quizzes, and probably one of the number one mistakes where you kind of get mixed up, a lot of people would get to this. Make sure, I think it would be easier for you to add the like terms, right? So we have 6x minus 5x. So add the like terms on one side of the parentheses. And I think that may help you. And if we had any like terms on this side, do the same. But that might help you to go on, alright? So now I have an x squared and an x. So because of that, I'm going to have to subtract everything from one side and set that equal to 0. So if I do that, okay, so if I would add, and I'm doing this in this way because if I do it like this, I'm going to end up with the x squared on this side, and that x squared is going to be positive. So I have 0 is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 12 is plus 12. Right? Then you have to factor that. Now I expect for you to be able to factor this, but if not, well, you should. Alright, by this time we've been factoring long enough. So this is going to be 2 negatives. Factors of 12 add up to 8 is 6 and 2. So now we have two factors. You set them both equal to 0. And then you solve for this one. So add 6 to both sides. So you have x is equal to 6. And on this one you would have x is equal to 2. Alright, now notice that this one will work, but this one will not. And the reason that it won't is because if I plug in a 2 into this denominator or this one, I will get a 0 in the denominator. And as you well remember, you cannot divide by 0. Alright, so let me go to the next few answers. So on this one, remember, you just need to deal with the numerator, not everything. This is x is equal to 18. This is 4 is equal to x, or x is equal to 4, same thing. On number 9, you would have x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 1. Okay. On number 10, right on number 10, I'll do this one. Again, it's mainly because some people missed this on the quiz. There was a lot of you that still did not know how to do this. If I have a number by itself like this, there's nothing else with it. Look at the denominators. I have the same denominator here and here, but this 2 has a denominator of 1. So to make that denominator the same as this 2, I have to multiply top and bottom by x plus 1. Alright, and normally I don't write parentheses, sometimes I do, but make sure that you know that you're distributing that 2. Alright, remember the denominator, if I multiply both sides times x plus 1, the denominator is going to cancel. So this side is going to be 3x plus 2, this side is going to be 2x plus 2, and that came from multiplying this and that together. Now be careful because of this minus right here. Remember, this minus is going to make that a negative 2x, but it will also is going to also make that a negative 3. Okay, so be careful with that. Add the like terms. Notice that if I add 2x and that together, add the like terms on each side of the parentheses, each side of the equal sign, and notice that I have 2 minus 3, which is going to give you negative 1. And then from there you're going to solve. So if I subtract 2 from each side, I get a negative 3, and 3x is equal to negative 3. Divide this by 3, so x is equal to negative 1. But if you look at it, if I plug that back in here, alright, that's not going to work, so therefore even that cannot be the answer. Okay? So again, be careful with that. Alright, now the next couple of answers, of course, make sure to check your own. I'm going relatively fast through these. Let's see. Alright, we have x is equal to 0. And this next one, we would have x is equal to negative 1. Actually, we have x is equal to 1 and x is equal to negative 1. But again, if you notice that the answer 1 minus 1 is 0, so this one does not work. But you should get both answers. Alright, if you got any more questions, you can wait for me on Monday and I'll answer those. Remember, test on Monday.